Hi, my name's Jim. Welcome to Homestead and Bushcraft Tested, where I give little tips and tricks and techniques and gear reviews of some of the stuff that I use when I'm out in the backwoods. And hopefully, maybe I can teach you something that will make your time out in the woods more enjoyable. So what we're going to do today is we're going to start with flint and steel fire, which is percussion fire. You should always carry some kind of little lighter with you, Bic or whatever, zipper or whatever, but keeping in mind that those eventually run out of fluid. I'm going to show you today my little fire starting kit, flint and steel. This thing never runs out of fuel, never runs out of fluid. You don't even need anything liquid. You can find these little cases like this on Amazon. I think this is called the Ted Cash tobacco box. And if you take this small cover off, there's a little magnifying glass lens right inside. Now, if this was a nice and bright sunny day, you'd be able to use the sun and pinpoint a little dot of light to start your tinder. But since it's kind of damp and it's a little overcast, what we're going to do is concentrate on using the flint and steel. So when you get started, you want to clear out the ground, get all the leaves moved back. You don't want to set any tree roots on fire. And you also want to look at the overhead, make sure you're in a spot that's clear where your flames are not going to come up and catch any overhanging tree limbs on fire. In the wintertime, you want to make sure there's no snow over top of you either, because any kind of snow like that will eventually melt enough it could drop, plop, and put out your fire. Then you'll be really cold. So what I've done is I went ahead at the edge of the tree line up here and picked some dry grass. Get more of these leaves out. Now, I'm not actually going to talk about selecting tinder and getting your fire going. No kindling or anything. What we're doing right now is we're just concentrating on getting fire in this bundle. Now, since it's been raining these past couple of days, I've got some old leaves I picked up off the ground. They're a little bit damp. These are going to help serve to protect your fingers from the heat. So I'm going to set my bundle right there, a little bundle of tinder. You can use grass. You can use birch bark. You can peel off the inner bark of a cedar tree. So you'll notice the first thing here I've got is called char cloth. This is not waterproof, but it's real easy to light and it'll catch your sparks. I'll show you in another video how to make that. This next little bundle here, this is called tow, T-O-W. This stuff is really good for cleaning your muzzle loaders, starting a fire, anything like that. What this is this is just fiber that's left over from flax plants when they break the fibers to get the little pieces out to weave linen. Get this untangled here. These little pieces, these are what they call pitch pine. I'll show you how to find out a little bit later on in this video. This stuff is almost like waterproof matches. It'll light and burn even if it's pouring rain. And this is just a little bundle of old steel wool. Untreated, you can't use an SOS pad with soap in it, but any hardware store, steel wool. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a piece of this towel. We're going to break this up a little bit, spread it out just a bit. Put it right there in the top of our bundle. We'll take a piece of this char cloth right here and we'll break this off. This char cloth is heavy duck cotton canvas that's been burned or cooked in a way there's no oxygen gets to it, and it converts this cloth into pure carbon. Okay, so what we can do, one of two things. We can either stick it like this and strike, or what I prefer doing is setting it on top, taking my little striker here and catching my sparks with it. You notice that little spark, how that caught? Okay, you can see it starting to burn, the ember. You just place that right there, scoop up your leaves, make sure you don't burn your fingers. You wrap that bundle around and you blow steady in it. Pretty simple. Now, as I had explained about these little slivers here, this little pitch pine sliver, that stuff, man, it burns great. Look at that. Just make sure I put that out. This stuff's almost worth its weight in gold out in the woods. So I save my slivers. And I save my steel wool for when it's raining. When it's raining and everything is extra wet, this really gets an intense fire going. Now there's other ways of building fire in the woods. You know, like I said, you want to carry a little Bic lighter or a little Zippo as your primary, you can do that. But I'm kind of a traditionalist. I like to carry one of these in my shirt pocket. Now, let's make sure this fire is out. Let me get my canteen here going. We'll make sure I don't burn the woods down. Spread that out a little bit. See, even your damp oak leaves eventually catch fire. Make sure this is completely out. I'm paranoid. I don't want to set the woods on fire. I want to get my food cooked and get warm, but I don't want to burn to death. Now, we were discussing the pitch pine, where to find it. So let's take my hatchet, my little rifleman's tomahawk. Let's go right over here. You see all these dead tree limbs here and here and here? Now this pine tree is still alive, but you take your hatchet and you go up and you break that off close where it's dead, and you can smell that. It smells like a little bit of pine saw smell in there. So what that does is you've got sap in these little limb nodules that air dry and converts that sap into pitch. And that stuff is incredibly flammable. You can smell it. Okay. Now, when you've got like this over here, let's go over here. Now, when you see trees like this, pine trees that have died and fallen over, but they're not laying on the ground and rotting. So what happens is down close to the end where the root is, there's a lot of sap down there. And there's a lot of sap up here in all these big knots. And all that does is that converts itself. A little hard to, there we go. That sap converts itself into pine pitch. This makes incredibly, incredibly good tinder. You can light a fire in the driving rain with this stuff. Mostly you're going to collect it down towards the stump end or off these big knots up here. I got so many limbs I can't really swing that great right now, but you know, chop all these little nodules off, go down by the stump end. You can find a lot of your pitch pine. Split it up small, about matchstick size. You saw over there how quickly that thing lit. So, in conclusion, if you like this video and you follow this channel, I'll have some more tips and tricks for you on bushcraft and on homesteading, how you can grow gardens, bake bread and all that stuff around your house to be a little bit more self-reliant and self-sufficient.